Welcome to Comfy Habit number 2. So I'm going to give you a couple of stories about fighting. All right? And I do this because, one, there's a big difference in thinking you can fight, knowing you can fight. There's also that thing about fighting experience, and there's that thing about have you actually been in a fight. And I'm talking about a real fight. An honest to God slobber knocker. Not some shit you see on wrestling where it's real, but the outcome's already decided. In real life, no one decides the outcome except for the end of the fight. No. I've never started a fight a day in my life outside of with my big sister, so we're going to cover that right there. I have literally never gone anywhere and started a fight. Not in my lifetime. Now, have I been in fights against my will? Yes. Yes. Almost every fight I've had as a child was forced upon me. Damn, it was that. I missed a nickel and a dime. But I've never been the person to actually go out and start it. I have been the one who finished it, though. As a mixed person and a short person, I've been in a lot of goddamn rumbles. But it started when I was 6, when my uncles decided that I was going to go fight neighborhood kids for their entertainment. Now, today that would be considered child abuse unless it's sanctioned and there's gloves and sports involved. But back in the late 70s, early 80s, there was none of that. That was it right there. And then to top that all off, they keep doing all this crazy shit. I'm watching Pretendians, by the way. When I was 15, I got into a fight every week, or every day that week, except for Wednesday. The first fight was an argument. No, the first fight actually was a fight. The second fight was an argument. Wednesday was my day off. Thursday, the fight almost got physical. Friday, the fight got physical. And the guy was bigger than me each time. Now, prior to that, from the age of 6 to 12, I only fought people bigger than me. My uncles made me go fight. Now, that's 6 years of fighting. I turned 7 years old, learned martial arts. I got into more fights. And as a person who has gotten into a lot of fights, most of the time, it was because I was smaller. Never did I jump up in a big guy's face and say, I'll fuck your shit up. No. But a big guy was always in my face saying, I'm going to fuck your shit up. Until the fucking rumble happened, and it was a whole opposite thing on that. Now, moving on. As I got older, there were some fights that didn't end in a victory or a loss. They ended because parents were involved. In Smithfield, my dad stopped me from hurting somebody. As I got older, fights started to diminish. Nobody really wanted to fight with me unless it was just an argument. Got bullied a lot in school, but nobody physically touched me. And then they kept throwing paper balls and shit, and I brought my nunchucks to school. These specific nunchucks. So, getting that out of the way, I didn't get in trouble, but I had to give my nunchucks to the principal. I would later get them back because the principal technically was kin to me by marriage. Now, in between that, we moved over to Rougemont. And there was this dude. His name was Greg. Greg something. He could beat everybody's ass. Everybody ass. And one day we had a little bit of a clash. He didn't fight. We had a clash. So we got to talking. Because he thought that I was trying to fuck his girlfriend. I don't bother nobody's girlfriend. When I find out a girl's got a boyfriend, they're no longer on my radar. But apparently, a dude named Deanie. Hi, Deanie. And Greg were out there at the cab station. So, Deanie pointed me out to him. Yeah, that's the guy right there. That's him. That's him right there. Yeah, I'm talking about you, Deanie Smith. Charlottesville, Virginia. I'm talking about you. And Greg, whatever the fuck his name was. I haven't forgotten neither one of you motherfuckers. And I know you haven't forgotten me. Anyway, moving on. So, Greg caught me at the cab station. I just went to buy my mom a bottle of soda. So the bottle won't no bigger than this. It's just loaded with Pepsi or Coke. I don't remember. So he come around the corner. After I come out, he's like, yeah, I'm going to beat your ass now. I heard you been looking at my girl. I said, I look at all girls. You want to be more specific? So he talked about his girl. I said, look, I got eyes. I'm going to look. But I'm not messing with your girl. And he's like, well, you know, I beat up grown people. See, I know who you are. I've heard your stories. But I'm not them grown people. And I have a bottle of Pepsi or Coke in my hand. So, what do you want to do? Because I'm going to tell you right now. If you want to fight, I'm going to kill you with this bottle. He got to looking at me because it's a Pepsi bottle. It's plastic. And he goes, what do you think you can do with a Pepsi bottle? And I said to him, you think because this bottle is plastic that it can't hurt you or cut you or kill you? I said, dude, I'm a martial artist. This is not going to work out. It doesn't matter that you fought all these grown people. He's like, well, I'll fuck them up. I'll fuck you up. I said, okay, hold on. Could those grown people actually fight? It's like, what? I said, could those grown people actually fight? Did you snuff them from the back? Did you sneak up on them and tag them in the back? Or reach around their face while you were behind them and tag them in the face? You know, the reach around hit? He's like, what does that mean? I said, exactly. If those guys actually seen you coming, you probably wouldn't have whipped their ass. Or they just couldn't fight. I said, so that's not how this is going to work. I have a Pepsi bottle. Might have been Coke. I don't remember which one it was. But it's a plastic bottle. You've heard of paper cuts. This is a bottle. I am going to use it on you. I'm going to hurt you real bad. And I'm going to take whatever money you got in your pocket and go get another one. And then I'm going to take it to my mom and I'm going to come back and stand here until the police come. We didn't have cell phones, but we had a phone booth. I said, after I beat the fuck out of you, I'm going to call the cops and let them know what happened. He said, and then you, Mr. Smith, Mr. Deanie Smith, you can either watch or you can be next. It ain't going to matter. It's two of y'all against me, so the cops really ain't going to do shit to me. So, fight didn't happen. And they let me go home. So, the extent of the fact is, both of them were bigger than me. But both of them weren't willing to die for a fight. I am willing to die in a fight. Always have been. Because there's no more pain after death. Unless you die and go to hell, if that's what you believe. Now, when we first moved over here, I had to choke a dude out 3 times. In that park behind my house, I had to choke him out 3 times because he wouldn't let me go home. I just wanted to go home. And he was bigger than the guy I just recently talked about. And that happened very first week that we moved here. En Rougemont. I went to the park. I wanted to check out the playground. I tried to go home. I stepped to the right. He stepped to the left. I stepped to the left. He stepped to the right. I said, hey, look, man, I don't want no problems. I just want to go home. He weighed every bit of 220 pounds. And I weighed about $115. And I said, look, I'm going to ask you nicely. Just get out of my way. Let me go home. I don't want to hurt you. He got to laughing because at the time I was like 5'1", and he's like every bit of 5'8", 5'9". I said, this is how this is going to work. You let me go home, you don't get hurt. You can't hurt me. It's like, dude, you don't know me. So, I choked him out. The first time I choked him out, rear neck and choke. Second time, rear neck and choke. Third time, cobra crutch. And my knees was buried in his back. If you're going to fight somebody, don't let their size fool you. You're going to need to know if they can fight too. So my nephew come at me, I won 5 fights. Congratulations. Could they fight? Is that why, you won because they could fight or you won because they couldn't fight? I've been in more fights than you've been alive. You might get more pussy than me. Your baby's proof of that. But you ain't gonna beat me. It ain't gonna happen. You can think it all you want. And I'm gonna close with this. Usually when people keep telling you they're gonna fuck you up, but they don't make moves towards you, they have no intention of fighting you. Because I've been told I'm gonna fuck you up all the time. And I tell them the same thing that I'll tell you. I wish you would just go ahead and do it. Let's get this shit over with. And when I'm standing over top of you, you will have learned your lesson. My arms may be too short to box with a god, so I'll use my fucking legs. Second lesson. If you bleed, I can kill you. If you breathe, I can kill you. if you are a human being and you can't fly or instant transmission or power up like Goku, you are not a fucking god. So stop thinking that shit. Thank you for watching.